Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here. Today we're going to be bringing you a bit of a different type of video, something I haven't really done before. I'm going to be showing you an entire mission here, and I'm going to be showing you this for the reason I'm trying to prove a point with this, and that is that the biggest problem with Fallout 76 has nothing to do with multiplayer or network problems or frame rate issues or lag or bad AI or any of that. The core problem with the game is the missions themselves, which does tie into the no NPC thing, but I'm going to show you exactly what the problem is with this game, and that is the missions themselves are terrible. So I'm going to show you this video. I had to edit it for time. I'm not cutting anything out, but I'm going to speed certain sections up just because they don't need to be. When I was done with the video, it was over 45 minutes long, and I was like, okay, I don't need to run a 45-minute video just to prove my point, but it's still going to be a long video, and I'm going to show you this entire mission from the time I picked it up, which is what you've already seen here. I've picked up this mission called Final Departure. Now, this is a main story mission. This is not a side quest. This is a main story mission that you are going to encounter very early in the game. So, spoiler alert, this is a main story mission. If that's something you care about, then don't watch this video. That's fine. This video is intended to sort of lay bare the core issue with this game. So what I'm going to do is I've gotten this mission, and I've been told to follow the notifications, so it just says investigate Morgantown Airport. I don't really know what to expect when I receive this notification to head north to Morgantown Airport. The name of the quest is Final Departure, which has an ominous sound. Will I find survivors there, waiting for me to be found, or will I find another pile of corpses left for me by the apocalypse? With much trepidation, I head north. Oh, by the way, this is me. That's actually not a location on the map. That is someone's camp that they set up. In case you were wondering, that's someone's little setup that they set up outside of town. A nice little camp, and so nothing too important there. But just so you know, that is not part of the game. That is someone's camp that they set up. So that is not. And this here is the Overseer's campsite, which you will find as part of the main storyline. Basically, it's the first place they send you, so you're going to find that within the first 10 minutes of leaving the vault if you follow the main story. I'm not spoiling anything there. So, I'm going to stop talking like a weirdo right now, and I'm just going to head north. And this is just basically where I'm going. And what you're going to find is across almost nothing. You see the AI right here, just, lethal, completely lethal, just wrecking me here, just running in the opposite direction, kind of in a circle. This enemy here also just kind of sits here, is like, what's up? What's up? By the way, this is not the beta, so we can't use the it's a beta excuse anymore. This is how the AI is still functioning. It just kind of sits there and does nothing. So what you're going to see here, what you're going to see is the entire time I'm on my way north, I'm only going to find a handful of areas. And like I said, this takes me 45 minutes plus to complete this. And as you can see, all I'm doing is going to investigate Morgantown Airport. There's no side objectives. This is it. All it was done, I was told to head to the airport via a computer terminal log. And that's all I have to go by. And so I'm just walking north. There's no story going on here. I've already read the computer terminal. I've already heard everything I had to hear. I'm just headed north, and I find this location here. And as you can see, there's not really too much going on. We got a workbench. We got a note on the floor. We can read this. There's some ambient storytelling right there. There's a sleeping bag on the ground, so I could rest. But if you sleep on the ground, you could get a disease. So there's no real reason to sleep on the ground. You should just probably try to find a bed. There's really no reason to sleep as long as you can heal yourself. It's really pointless. Definitely no sleep on the ground in this game. And as you can see, the other entrances here are pretty much boarded up. There's really not a whole lot going on. Now, occasionally you can find enemies here, but as you can see, none of them have spawned for me at this time. So this is basically just a dead location. Not too much to pick up. I got some XP for discovering the location and couple notes here to read, and I'm on my way. There's nothing going on there at this time, nothing whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep heading north, and this is the mission. You're just headed north. And like I said, once again, I can't stress this enough. This takes me 45 minutes of real time to complete. And this is another detour that is not part of the mission. This is something I just found. We have a mine over here. And I'm going to walk in here, and there's going to be some enemies to kill. I'm going to speed this up because this is not technically part of the mission, and you could go right past this. Now, I know you might say, hey, coach, going off the beaten path in Bethesda games is kind of part of the thing. That's what you do. You find locations along the way. And yes, you're correct. But again, I'm doing this in order to save time and not have a 45-minute video. I can't stress this enough. So I got to speed this up just so you see. So I go through here. I kill a couple enemies. You do have an option, if you notice in the footage real quickly, there is a door to go into the mine. I did not choose to do that. So you could come back here and explore later. That is true. But as of now, I'm just going to stick to this main story, and we're just going to go along the way here. I see a little cat. Got an enemy here, so I'm going to take care of him real quick, and we're just going to keep headed north. And yes, I'm going to make you sit through this entire journey so you get the idea of how far you have to go. And like I said, this is an early mission, and I said in one of my earlier videos that the further you get along the storyline, the longer you have to go between locations. And this is important because this is the first time they send you out of the starter tutorial area. You're going to spend a little bit of time going through some really easy missions where they're basically just teaching you the ropes of how to cook food and boil water and set up your camp and stuff like that. Not a big deal here. But now they're going to send you out. This is the first time they send you out of the initial small tutorial area, and this is the first mission, and they just get longer distances between here. This is something I said in my critique after the beta, is that the missions just ping-pong you through basically long stretches of not much action. As you see, so I found that mine, and I found that empty Slocum Joe's location, and what you're going to see is I really don't run into anything else until I get very close to the airport itself. There's nothing. I mean, there's scenery you can look and see around, but you can see there's not really any markers around. I'm on my way to the one that's dead in front of me. I could go up the hill. There is another location there. I've already visited that before, though, on another save, so I know there's not much there. But this is the thing. There's not even enemies here to kill. Now I'm gonna run up across some dogs here up on the bridge that are harassing a robot. One of the vaunted NPCs that people keep pointing to when they say, oh, but there's no human NPCs, but there's definitely robots. There's other NPCs in the game. And after I dispatch with these dogs, I'm going to give you my interaction with this NPC, and you'll see just how useless the claims are that there's interesting NPCs in this game. I already showed you Raider Rose in one of my earlier videos, which is by far the most interesting NPC that I found in over 35 and now over 40 plus hours with this game. And most of them are going to be like this robot that I come across right now. So let's just head up here and we will see what he has to say. I assure you, it's nothing important whatsoever. So let's just sit back and listen to the audio from this Mr. Handy robot.
Hello there. Good day to you. Hello there. Hello there. Good day to you. Hello there.
Yeah, doggy. Where are you?
So there you have it. That is a more typical interaction that you'll have with an NPC in this game. As you can see, just riveting writing going on there. Definitely a well fleshed out character. Totally makes up for the lack of any actual, real characters in the game. That totally is fulfilling the role playing, just the everything we've loved about Bethesda games over the years, is the wacky, zany characters. You just had an interaction there. Now, they didn't need to use that opportunity of me taking care of those dogs around that robot to have a cool random interaction. No, that was just a nothing. That was just a nothing interaction with that NPC. What is the point of that? It's just there to break up the monotony a bit, I guess. But what is the point of that? Why bother with that NPC? And once again, people were giving everyone who's being negative about the game is pointing to the NPC. Well, there's going to be robot NPCs. Well, that's what you get. So that's what a lot of people have been hanging their hat on, saying that this is going to be the interesting NPCs that we're going to find, which is clearly just a joke. Now, I'm going to speed this up again here. This is a location where you can do an optional sort of quest where you can find some loot. I'm going to speed through this here just real quickly, because once again, this is not part of the actual quest I'm trying to do. This is just an optional objective, and once again, I'll point out, yes, this is part of what you do in Bethesda games, is you go and you find stuff along the way, but this is just a quick objective. You go through, you pick up some loot, you kill some enemies. It's it's a little bit of exploration here, which is the foundation of the game, and once again is the only salvageable part of this game. I've said that before. That is the only part of this game that can hold my attention at all. But as I've already shown here, even in the starting area of the game, it's pretty barren, and it does get worse the further you go. Now, the area I'm headed to currently, Morgantown, is one of the busiest areas on the map. There is probably a lot going on there. In fact, it might be the busiest area that I've seen. There's a lot more enemies, there's a lot more buildings. It's definitely a very large area, and can give the impression early on that there's going to be a lot of big areas like that to explore. However, there's really not, and as you get further north, further east, you'll find that it is harder and harder to find any new spots at all, and the ones you can find are generally much smaller, and certainly much smaller than Morgantown. And down further south, you can find the capital in Charlestown, and that's also a very large area, but kind of blasted out. Morgantown, I would say, is the most explorable area, and so we're going to see a little bit of that in this video, the outskirts of it. And the issue is that there's not too much else along the way a lot of times when you're doing these missions. And like I said, this is not a side quest. This is a main mission. This is the critical path. Now, what I'm going to do here, this is a train station, and all of these train stations, if you see the train logo on your map, this is a place where you can go, and there's always going to be a robot vendor in here. There's usually a crafting station or two. You can buy some ammo at one of these little vendor machines, and there's always going to be a robot inside here. So those are actually pretty handy locations to find, and they're all over the map. You're going to find those all over the place, and as you may have noticed in that footage, the stash size for your inventory is still capped at 400 pounds. They said they were going to address that. They obviously still have not done that to this point, so hopefully they'll address that soon. They did say they were going to increase that. I saw a lot of people saying, oh no, Todd said it's going to be unlimited after launch. Well, I don't remember them ever saying that, and obviously, as you can see, that's not the case. So now we're going to head into Morgantown Airport itself, and this is where we will meet the conclusion of our quest. What will we find? Well, certainly we'll find some scorched inside to kill, but what mysteries lay beyond? So let's find out. So I'm just going to go through here. You'll see there's not even really a whole lot of stuff to pick up. There's a tinker station right there. You can do some crafting, but even as far as like just general junk to pick up, this location is relatively barren. These shelves don't really have much in them. I'm going to find a crate here with some stuff, but other than that, this is a stockroom that in a normal Fallout game would be chock full of junk or some stuff, and as you can see, there's almost nothing in here I can even pick up. Now we're going to see another robot vendor here, which kind of odd because there's just another one right outside the door. It's going to be a couple more enemies to kill, and these are the scorched enemies, which, as I said also in my critique, you're going to be fighting these things. I would say about 50 to 60% of the enemies you're going to be shooting will be these scorched enemies. Other than that, you're going to be running into probably about another 10 to 15% super mutants, then feral ghouls, and then just your general wildlife. that you'll run out into. But as far as enemy variety goes, it's going to be mostly scorched. They're going to be all over the map in most locations that you find, and if they're not there, odds are it's going to be a super mutant. If you all of a sudden are taking damage and you didn't hear anything coming up, odds are it's one of these guys right here. So we're going to go through this location. As you can see, most of these enemies are just frozen in place. They're not even actually enemies at all. They're just kind of scenery. I'm going to pick off a few enemies, but this is the mission. And by the way, this is the climax of the mission. What you're seeing here is going to be the most challenging part. This is going to be the main step that I'm trying to do. Now, there's another step after this to conclude the mission that's right outside the doors. Not much involved with that, but this is the main area that you're meant to be clearing for this mission. This is the more or less the ultimate spot. And as you can see, there's a handful of enemies. There's some stuff laying around. There's not even really there you go. Way to attack me, buddy. Just kind of standing there waiting for it. And this, once again, I've said this multiple times, this is a main mission. This is not a side quest. This is a main mission. And this is a major problem with this game. And you'll hear a lot of people say stuff like, well, you got to play with a group. It's fun with a group. But this is what I'm doing with this video here. You see an NPC that's already dead once again, because they're all, spoiler, they're all going to be dead. Everyone's dead. Spoiler. But I see people say, well, you got to play with someone. But what I'm doing here is showing you that the basic missions of the game are so bare bones, and there's just so little actually going on in this world that just because you say you're having fun with friends, well, that's fine. You can have fun playing a lot of games in a party chat with your friends. And you can have a lot better time than this, because there's nothing going on here. Really. And I love the Fallout franchise. I have for years. For over a decade. But this, and I understand people say, this is not a Fallout game, this is a different type of game. And I know that. I've made videos discussing the difference, and I know that this is a completely different style of game. But what I'm telling you here is, strip away the Fallout veneer, strip away the Bethesda name and the Fallout name. This is not a good game, even for the genre that it's in. It's not a good survival game. It's certainly not a good PvP game with the hit detection problems. It's not a good crafting game. I didn't show it here in this video. Oh, hold on. We're gonna do a mission step here. Look out. Going to the computer terminal. I've leveled up. Oh, this is exciting. I just completed a miscellaneous objective, and I've leveled up, and now I can get a perk card pack. I'm at the edge of my seat right now, as you can imagine. And you see the next quest step it tells me to listen to a holotape. That's the next quest step for that miscellaneous mission, which is a theme that you'll find throughout this game. It's just a holotape leading to a computer terminal, leading to another holotape, leading to another computer terminal, leading to a note, leading to a holotape. That's almost every mission. There's some mission variety here and there. But for the most part, what I'm showing you now, not only is this a bad mission that I'm showing you, this is emblematic of the game itself. As a whole. This is what you're going to find over and over again, is this type of mission. Oh, and don't blink, did you just miss it? I actually just completed the main quest step that I've been trying to do. That was my investigation of Morgantown Airport. I found another holotape. And like I just said, spoiler alert, that's how almost all the missions are. You're going from one holotape to another holotape. And some of them might be interesting to listen to. Yes, I will grant you that. However, some of them also drone on for about 5-6 minutes at a time of some of the most asinine nonsense. More asinine than the commentary in my video here, you might say. Some might say. But this is the whole basis for the game. And this is the main problem. This is what I've been trying to say this whole time, is that there's no meat on these bones here. Add in the fact that we've already had articles come out today discussing that people have already gotten to and beaten the ultimate endgame content. Yeah, that's right. People have already launched nuclear codes onto a fissure and beaten the highest level, a level 95 enemy. Yes, that's right. You can go and read the stories for yourself. In fact, I think there's YouTube videos of it. So people, the game launched yesterday. People have already beaten the end game content, and now what are they going to do? What are they going to do now? They're just going to keep doing it over and over again? Okay, I guess that is the point to a game like this, but for people who are like, oh, there's so much content, yes, there's always more stuff you can go and do in Bethesda games. I know, there's going to be all sorts of side content. I understand that, but people keep telling me it's not a typical Bethesda game. So let me point out to you people, yes, this isn't a typical Bethesda game. This is a looter shooter that's supposed to have a long tail. People have already beaten the hardest content in the game a day after it launches. Let that sink in. Anyone who understands this genre of game, you will understand that's insane that it's already been done. And I know the majority of people haven't done it, but it's already been done. And I understand these guys got a head start through the beta, and they've already played probably 40 to 50 hours. But still, 40 to 50 hours, and they've done the hardest stuff in the game. That's still not a lot for a game that's supposed to go forever. And I know they can add stuff, but come on. This is the issue with the game. It's just not a good game. I'm sorry. You might be having fun with it, but this is not a good version of any genre. It's not a good Fallout game. It's not a good Bethesda game. It's not a good survival game. It's not a good RPG. It's not a good crafting game because you have such limited space. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go and finally complete this mission here. Once again, if you play this all out, this was over 45 minutes that I have some of it sped up, and I cut a couple of clips for loading screens. But this was the mission. Was this riveting to you to watch? This is, once again, this is probably the 6th time I've said it. This is a main story. Oh, here we go. The big payoff. I did it. I completed the mission because I hit the right thing on the computer terminal. Literally, that's the mission. Congrats. There you go, Coach. Anyway, I'm Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Sorry this was a long video, but I had to prove my point. Please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward. And as always, fellow players, you keep it turned to 11.